When I was a kid, I used to love collecting Pokemon cards.
Pikachu!
Now, before we even get started, please comment in the comment section below, are you a Pikachu person? No! That's a first edition fossil pack sealed and it just fell. Oh my god. So anyways, before we get started, just comment below, are you a Pikachu person or a Charizard person? Let's get started. Anyways, I grew up, I lost all of my cards, I honestly don't know where they are, and it broke my heart. And then when COVID hit during the first wave in Israel, an old friend of mine called me and said, hey, do you still have your cards? If you do, I want to buy them. And then I told him pretty much that I lost it, and then I started doing some digging, and he told me that Pokemon cards are now booming, and as a normal 30-year-old man, instead of just letting it go, I decided I'm going to be back at collecting Pokemon cards because I remember how much I loved it, and I remember the magic, you know, with opening the pack and just getting this card you're looking for. So one thing that was very surprising is industry changed completely. Back in the day when we were kids, we used to just switch cards, just do trading based on the Pokemons we liked or just based on hunch. But now it's very organized, everything online, you have all the information you need, you can know exactly how much each card is worth, and there are a bunch of parameters you need to consider whenever you're trying to understand the worth of every card. And also, if you're doing it well enough, you can also do a lot of money by collecting Pokemon cards, by flipping cards and, you know, buying and selling. Plenty of things you can do. One thing that I can tell you for sure is that one of the things that I love most about getting back at collecting Pokemon cards is that it's something between a hobby and a business type of things. It's not really a business, but eventually you buy these collectibles and over time they get older. So I'm kind of assuming that the price for all of them is going to stay the same or go up. So, you know, the fact that you know you can sell it at some point kind of stays with you and let you feel better about spending this money. That's me personally. How to do these profitable deals, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Now, what's actually affecting the price of Pokemon cards? So first of all, there's just media exposure. If there's going to be a boom, anything related to the Pokemon industry, a new movie, a new actor that said that he loves Pokemon, a new game that came out, anything that kind of captured the public's attention around Pokemon is going to spike Pokemon card value up. Sometimes it's going to go back down again, but again, this is something that helps understanding the fluctuation with Pokemon card prices. The second thing is the older, the better. Pokemon cards are out since 1998. Over time, there are more cards coming out by the Pokemon company. Obviously, the older the card, the better, because after a while, they just stop producing any series of cards that comes out. So yeah, the older the better. There are a bunch of different rarity classes of Pokemon cards. You know, there's common, uncommon, rare, super rare, extra rare, secret rare. So a lot of things are related to rarity obviously change the value of the card. The rarer the card, the more hard it is to get your hands on. And then another thing is scarcity. So if a card is very scarce, it's going to be more expensive. And I'll give you an example. Let's say that you got a card from one of the first sets. It's not necessarily a rare card, but it's in excellent condition, and there's like 20 of them in the world that is graded with that quality of card. We're going to talk more about grading cards and more about card condition, but let's say that there are only 20 cards of it. Although it's very rare, it's still going to be worth a ton because there are a lot of collectors out there and all of them wants to have their hands on this card. The next thing would be the minter, the better. So if it went through a washing machine, hopefully not, then it's definitely going to hurt the value of the card. And then anything else related to scratches, tears, whitening on the edges, it's going to affect the card pricing. If it's perfect, it's beautiful and it's going to increase the card value by 10 if it's perfect. The last thing is the more popular, the better. There are a lot of cards, specific Pokemon, that people love more than other. I'll give you an example. Anything related to Pikachu, Charizard, Jigglypuff, all these Pokemons that people love tend to be more expensive because more people love them. Eevee is also one that is very popular. It doesn't mean that all of them are going to be super expensive, but let's say that every time that series with a Charizard in it comes out, everybody is trying to get their hands on these Charizards. Again, we got just public media, older the better, the rarer the better, the scarcer the better, the minter the better, and the more popular the better. Okay, so these are the things you need to consider whenever you're trying to get your hands on a Pokemon card. Now let's talk about grading. we talked about the condition of the cards. As I mentioned, it can go from anywhere between damaged to completely new card, and then anything in the middle. Use your experience to evaluate the card condition and put your price on it accordingly. But there are a few companies, the two most popular are PSA and CGC, that can grade cards for you. Basically, you're going to send the card to them, and then you're going to get it a few months later with silicone case, or fiberglass, I don't know what it is, but this case with a grade on it. So it's going to mention the card name, and it's going to get a grade between 1 to 10. 1 is the worst and 10 is perfect, okay? And the beautiful thing about it is it's pretty much going to give this card an exact value on the market, because it's much easier to say this Celebi reverse foil from Skyridge in grade 9 is worth exactly X compared to, just a card that is not graded and you don't really know what's its condition. So they are pretty much the authority related to card quality. Another great thing about these grading companies is that they keep population reports of all the cards, which means if you got a card and you want to know the value of it with less sales in the internet, plus to know how many are there from the same card, you can just type it in the website and you'll see an exact report of that card. Okay, so let me just give you an example. Let's jump into my screen and let's search for this card specifically. This is 2003 Pokemon Skyridge Celebi.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I found this Celebi reverse foil, which is the card I hold in my hand. You can see it here. You can see at the top grading between 1 to all the way to 10. There's a total of 122 cards, like the one I'm holding right now. There are 70 graded at 10, which is perfect. And in total, they're only graded 323 cards like this. So this is a pretty rare card. We'll talk more about pricing in a second, just to show you how you should look at these prices. So you now understand pretty much the basics around grading. Let's talk about the next tool you must be familiar with, which is eBay. Now, I've never bought anything on eBay until I got into Pokemon cards. And the beautiful thing about eBay that is great is all the auctions that's going on in there. There are a lot of unique, different Pokemon cards in whole different ratings and different conditions. And this is where most of the sales are happening. So yeah, it's very easy. I'm going to show you some of the basics to understand pricing, understand how to find different cards, and then how to buy it, how to place auctions, etc. Okay, so let's jump into my screen and let's go through eBay. So this is eBay. Let's say that I'm looking for this card, which is base set Charizard, pretty good condition. All right, so let's just search for it and see what comes up. All right, I'm going to use the card number, which you can find on the right bottom corner of each card. Okay, so this one is a base set Charizard. It's not graded, I just protected it with a sleeve. And you can see that these are the prices. If I'm looking at the best matches on eBay, you can see them being sold for $250, $200, $170, $120. You can see that this one, for example, it's much cheaper because it's heavily played. Okay, so that's a worst condition. I'm going to show you just what it looks like. And if you want to see this one, seems like an excellent condition, so it's $350. And this one, probably something in the middle, but I see this one is an auction. So let's go through these three cards. All of them are the same. You can see we got it for $80, $120, and $350. Okay, so this one, again, $120. It's available to buy it now. You can see that the card condition is kind of bad. There's a lot of whitening behind it. Yeah, it's kind of scratched all the way. Yeah, that's a bad condition for the card. You can see also there's this small folding at the bottom of the card. There are a bit of scratches at the image on the hollow part, which is bad as well. So again, this is a card for $120. And then you got here another one which claims to be in a perfect condition. Again, I don't think I see any scratches, maybe just mild ones. Yeah, let's have a look at the back of the card. It usually tells the most. Yeah, there are some scratches at the hollow card. And then the back, we just got some whitening at the corners. So you can see again, this is a much better condition card. That's why it costs so much more. And this one is an auction. You can see there are still 0 bids here, but it's an auction for about $80, which is fairly cheap, to be honest. Now, how can we evaluate the actual price of the card? Good thing, eBay have systems for that as well. So if we look at this card, one thing that you can help you easily understand the shape and condition of the card and the value, if you go to the left menu on eBay, scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see an option to only display sold items. And here you're going to see this one. By the way, this is not the same card. You can see this Pikachu head on top of it. That's a different set. We're going to talk about it later. This one, again, not the same card. Graded card. It's not raw as the one I showed you, and it's also not the same card. Again, this is a graded one, not the same card, not the same card, not the same card. This one, heavy played, sold for $100. This one, lightly played, which stands for LP, sold for $185. Pretty much what you can do is just take 10 of the same cards that sold. Again, it shouldn't be graded, it should be like raw condition, it needs to be the same card. Let's find another one. Yeah, this one, 86. So you just want to take like 10 of those, make an average, and that's pretty much going to give you the value of the card. Although it's important that you make sure that the condition is pretty much similar to all of them, because obviously a mint card is not going to be the same as damaged card. So just take that into consideration. Another important thing is you can always sort it by either newly listed to find things and snatch them first before anyone else gets them, or you can also sort things by ending soonest, and then you can find auctions that are going to end soon and didn't get any high bids on them. Let's see if we find something interesting. Nah, nothing interesting right now. This could be an interesting one, but still got 3 hours to go. Good opportunities around eBay. It's not just to find these single cards that might be sold in a low price. You can always look for also keywords like Pokemon binder, for example. And then you can find people who sell their entire collection or stuff. And usually it's going to be at a discounted price. Let me find an example. So you see this guy, he sells a binder full of old vintage Pokemon cards, and you can switch between the images and see what's coming with it. Again, a little bit more complex, but still it's going to help you find all sorts of interesting opportunities if you just buy in bulk. But you want to make sure that you actually get ones that are good. You see, these are also first edition, which makes them a little bit more expensive. But I'm not sure this deal even worth it. You need to first have a look at the cards, try to evaluate the total value, and then see if it's a good price or not. I've found multiple deals that are related to binders that I'm super happy with, so I recommend trying it out if you have the time and budget. Okay, so this is pretty much it about eBay for now. You need to be aware about and be careful of when you get into Pokemon collecting. First of all is avoid fakes. Okay, there are a lot of very good fakes out there, and if you're not really into Pokemon cards, it's going to be hard for you at the beginning to identify between them. So make sure to read a little bit about it, watch some videos about fakes so you'll know what's going on, so you can avoid it as soon as possible. And there are, again, really good fakes. I even bought few in my past, gotta admit. Second, card language. You're going to see a lot of different cards in Portuguese, German, Spanish, Chinese. Japanese is very obvious, the cards look completely different, but try to avoid are French and German, because sometimes you're gonna accidentally buy a card that you're gonna think is in English, which the value of is like 10 times more, and you're eventually gonna understand that you bought French card pretty much worth nothing. Another thing you need to be worried, the low ratings. If you find a seller on eBay, always before you make a purchase, look at his reviews and make sure you got enough feedback on his profile. If you see some fake profile with like 1 or 2 reviews, probably it's a scammer. You don't want to purchase anything from this person. Card condition, obviously, I think this is something we talked about. If you buy a card that is not rated, like the one I have here, you want to carefully examine the images and understand the card condition to evaluate accordingly. And then the last thing, which I showed you also in eBay Now, is similar cards from different sets. Only this Charizard have like 5 different versions from different sets. You want to make sure that you get the one that is actually relevant. It looks very different, but the cards are different. I'm going to probably display on the screen here a few examples of the same card that look similar, but they're completely different cards with completely different values. Now let's move on to a few other important tools you need to be familiar with. The first one is Pokecollector. They also have a mobile app if you want it, and this is if you're into collecting. The beautiful thing about it is once you register, you get an account, and then you can see all the different sets of the Pokemon card game. And then once you click it, you can see all the cards, you can see exactly how many cards you have from each set. So if you're looking into collecting and not just making money, you can see exactly what you got here, and then you can filter it out by only cards that you're missing or only cards that you have. and you can see exactly how much out of how many cards you see. Everything that is with a green check on it means that I have this card at least one time. There is also tcgplayer.com that allows you to do the same, plus allowing you to insert the amount of cards you have, and then it's going to calculate the value of your entire collection, which is great because it's dynamic. You see here I have 86 cards and I miss 16 to complete this set. Okay, if I click it, I'm only going to see the one that I'm missing. Okay, so that's a great tool to be familiar with. Another great tool is Pricecharting.com. You can search different Pokemon cards, and then based on the card you can see the card value over time. You can see it for graded cards and you can see it for ungraded, which is great. It's also going to show you the sale volume per card. So some cards obviously are being sold less, some of them are being sold more, and it's going to help you see the price over time and try to evaluate where pricing is going to. Another important website is Trollandtoad, which is a website you can pretty much buy any cards you want from, and some people rely on it whenever they sell cards to price it according to Trollandtoad. However, sometimes it's going to be way more expensive than on eBay. So let's search again for that Charizard.
A few moments later.
So you can see again, these prices are a little bit more expensive than we saw on eBay. So yeah, many people are pricing their cards according to Trollandtoad, but again, not my type of thing. I think you should be familiar with. The last tool that you must be familiar with, and this is where you actually start doing the flipping. So I taught you how you can search card prices and then you can find very good deals once you close these deals. So shipping different cards and making all these transactions can be very expensive unless you find a solution for that. Luckily, there is a tool called Shipmycards.com, and this service is going to allow you to get a US address, and then you're going to be able to send cards to this US address, and they're going to store your cards for you whenever you need and ship it all together to your home, no matter where you are in the world, and they have very good rates on FedEx shipping. So that's the beautiful thing. You get a shipping address, which is pretty much their address plus your username, and then you put this address on eBay for the cards you're purchasing. Then they ship the card to the Shipmycards address. They put it online. As you can see, I get a screenshot of every card that is getting there. And then there is a fee, $2 per single card, $5 for a batch of cards, and like $10 for a box. Okay, so you can ship all the cards to Shipmycards, and they don't going to charge you per month or anything like that. They're just going to store it there for you, and whenever you want it, you can ship it to your place. And they also have a bunch of other services, like they can do grading for you, they can do some extra picturing, they can check if it's fake for you. There are a lot of things you can ask them to do for you, and these guys are great. They have an actual marketplace within Shipmycards. In this internal marketplace, you can list the cards that you got to Shipmycards and list them for sale in whatever price you want, and then other people from Shipmycards can buy these cards directly without having to pay any extra money. Okay, so that's going to save you all the shipping fees, anything related to shipping and handling of the product. Let's say you bought a card, a very cheap card, for $20 when it's actually worth $80. You can try and sell it here for like $90 and then stay with a bunch of it in your hand. I already did it one time. Actually, I do have 2 cards that are now for sale, and I already have this one item that I bought for $150 on eBay and sold it here for $300, which is nice. Yeah, they are very late condition, as you can see, so I decided to sell it and I made a nice profit. Now it's in my credit here. So that's the beautiful thing. And if you really want to take it to the next level, you can actually open a seller account on eBay, list all of your cards from here directly to eBay, and whenever someone purchases it, just make a shipment request to these cards to the relevant address of the person who bought it from you. And this is how you really work with Shipmycards to flip Pokemon cards. Now, just a few final words, show you some of the exhibits that I got here. First of all, I really am in the favor of, whenever you are just starting out, the safest bet for you to purchase cards would be to go for sealed product, because sealed product tend to not only go up in value, they tend to go down in population. Okay, because every once in a while someone is buying this vintage Pokemon booster pack, which contains like 11 cards or 9 cards, depends on the set, and then they just want to open it. You can see that if you go to YouTube and see opening base set booster pack, you'll see people that are opening them, which means for every one that is being opened, this one is getting more expensive. This is a base set sealed booster pack. This is from 1998, the first set that ever came out. And I have this fossil booster pack, which is first edition. You can see there is a small stamp here saying first edition, which means that all the cards are a little bit more expensive in there just because they're all first edition. Just go ahead and at the beginning maybe start with sealed products. It's maybe not that cheap, but you can always just buy the new stuff and let it sit down like wine and get more expensive. Okay, so these are all the things you can do. If you want to learn more about flipping and you want to learn more about, let's say, flipping domains, you can check out this video that we did not long ago. Again, a whole different realm, flipping domain, but it's kind of similar. You just search for opportunities to buy something cheap and then you sell it in, more expensive, or let it sit down, age, and gain more value. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.